In the UFC, title fights rarely come together for just one reason anymore. Merit matters, momentum matters, but sometimes the deciding factor is something harder to ignore. The kind of rivalry that takes on a life of its own.
You got Chimaev, the f***ing go-fucker. Chimaev this, Chimaev that.
He lost a lot of fights. He has to win one fight.
The middleweight division has been circling one of those for a while, but now the championship belt happens to sit right between them.
Guy's just fucking is a clown, dude. I mean, you want to talk about a clown? Chimaev can fight, but sir, you are not a fucking man.
I'm in LA, bro. If it's something personal for you, just come. I'm here whenever you want.
Two personalities that were destined to collide sooner or later. One built on relentless forward pressure and blunt honesty. The other on suffocating dominance and a willingness to make every exchange personal.
He said that when you were in the gym together, he would actually out-wrestle you and be better than you in the wrestling over 4 rounds.
Once he realizes he can't fucking maul you and you don't quit, he quits.
But this guy just talk too much, so Drake could take him down many times, but how can he take me down? This guy, I beat him everywhere.
Khamzat Chimaev, the new middleweight champion, will defend his belt for the first time against former champion Sean Strickland in a fight fueled by far more than championship stakes.
Let's go! Let me tell you, this is a very, very interesting matchup for Khamzat Chimaev and for Sean Strickland. And certainly, the lead up to this one, they're both talking a lot of stuff.
How much security do you think we're going to need from Chimaev?
Quite a lot.
From a level of entertainment, that's our fight.
But before these two finally hash it out in the cage, let's take an inside look into UFC 328. When it comes to Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland, many fans will be just as interested in the Thursday press conference as they will be in the fight itself, or maybe even more.
I generally don't post my location, but on Instagram, some stupid shit popped up in my feed about like Chimaev saying, you try to fight me or kill me in the streets.
Я не хочу убивать на улице, так умер как в клетке, это спорт.
I was dropping tags and locations all day on my Instagram. You had to know where I was at. 10 minutes from your gym, bro. I was probably right down the street from you. Part of me thought you'd show up. But man, I'm like the last dude in America you should threaten.
Fights aren't necessarily won or lost on the mic, but this one will be explosive in both areas. Even though Khamzat favors a grappling and wrestling approach, and Strickland a high-volume striking affair, this is by no means a clear-cut striker versus grappler dynamic. And when the lights go down and round one begins, there could be an electricity in the air that either brings out the best of these two or tips the scales in one man's favor. Most fans would agree that Khamzat doesn't compete often enough, but when he does, it's always an event of significance, and his potency inside the octagon hasn't slipped. Sure, many of his supporters weren't thrilled by the performance he turned in against Dricus du Plessis, a more measured and controlled win than most had hoped for. But Khamzat still dominated a pound-for-pound opponent and made him look like he had no business being in the same cage as him.
The fans, DP, got a little restless, but Chimaev held him in positions that we don't see UFC fighters put opponents in very often. He held him there for minutes at a time. Despite the boos, despite anything, he just came out and dominated a champ who's defended and beat top guys over and over again and pitched a shutout, dominated every round.
It does make it interesting to wonder whether or not he'll take this fan backlash to heart and change something up. Even the most exciting high-octane fighters can't make every bout an instant classic. But if Chimaev lies on Strickland for 25 minutes, he might end up doing serious reputational harm with the casual audience. Will this play on his mind? Will he make uncalculated risks that he would not have attempted in his last bout? Because either way, the question now is what Sean Strickland can offer in offense and defense that DDP can't. Strickland knows exactly how he would like to contest this fight. In an ideal world, he'd be able to fight off the takedown, keep Chimaev from tying him up, and turn this into a striking contest.
I've trained with Chimaev, dude. For one round, the guy can grapple. Once you get over that one round of scramble, he just quits. It just turns into a kickboxing match.
You know, if you were to ask me before the Fluffy fight, I would have said, I think Sean's great, but you know, he's just going to be another victim for Khamzat. But after watching him fight Fluffy, I'm actually thinking if that Sean Strickland shows up, he beats Khamzat.
I think that Sean draws a lot of strength from that experience, certainly his familiarity with Chimaev. These are all encouraging signs.
Strickland is no stranger to shocking the world. Just look at the win over Israel Adesanya that earned him the belt. But that was a matchup that suited Strickland's aims in many ways. Even though Adesanya on paper held the technical advantage, Strickland at least knew that he would probably have 25 minutes to work with on the feet. The problem with fighting the middleweight champ Chimaev is that he might not even get 25 seconds per round.
When you look at Sean Strickland and the game plan against Khamzat, he looked so good against Fluffy, right? He stopped all those takedowns. Everyone I speak to, including Robert Whittaker, who have been in there with Khamzat, have told me, though, being in there with Khamzat is completely different to being in there with Fluffy.
There's just different fucking levels of grappling, and Khamzat is at the highest level. Like, I feel like Khamzat's going to be able to get a hold of him. He's going to be able to take him down, but is he going to be able to do that over and over and over? Is he going to be able to finish him? I don't know. Sean Strickland has great cardio.
The absolute worst thing that can happen for Strickland in this bout is for Khamzat to realize that he's got an easy path to the takedown early, because you'd better believe he'll take it and go back to it as often as it works. It's a matchup that's filled with questions. Can Strickland rattle Khamzat's cage in the buildup? Does he have the power to keep Khamzat off him on the feet or potentially even hurt him? And if Khamzat does get Strickland down, how easy will it be for him to move to the back and lock up his neck? Sean has never lost by submission, and that's certainly a stat that will give his fans hope. But Robert Whittaker hadn't been submitted in 13 years prior to fighting Chimaev, and we saw how he cut through the former champ's defenses like a hot knife through butter.
You and Sean had an interaction in the gym, and he was like, hey, take it easy, you kill everybody. Did you roll with Sean? Did you spar a little bit?
Yeah, we spar with him, we did train with that guy, you know, so...
Did you tap him out?
Yeah, many times, bro. So.
What did you get him with?
Chokes, different things, that things everyone see in the gym, you know, so ask his coach, you know, but he's good. He's a tough guy, tough dude, man.
This fight is not a foregone conclusion for Khamzat Chimaev. Yes, Khamzat is the better wrestler. Yes, Khamzat has the bigger power, but there's more to it than wrestling and punching power. There's conditioning. Sean Strickland's got some of the best conditioning in the game. I don't think Sean, when he gets taken down, will be held down. I don't think he's going to be that easy for Khamzat to take down. I do think he will get him down because Khamzat's wrestling is next level. But as I said, the jiu-jitsu of Sean Strickland is very, very tricky. It's creative. He believes in himself.
If it seemed like we're framing the fight almost entirely through the lens of how Strickland can stop Chimaev from doing what he does best, that's because that's the only way to look at this bout on paper. Strickland's puncher's chance will likely have to come from a sustained effort. He's not really a one-punch KO artist for the most part. Chimaev is the force of nature here. And while he didn't exactly set the world alight with the performance that won him the belt, he still dominated one of the best fighters on the planet at the time. Sean Strickland is gonna need to surprise us and his opponent with his performance, because we all know what Khamzat Chimaev is going to attempt. But just because we're aware of his likely path to victory, that doesn't mean that it's going to be any easier to stop him.